Good evening and welcome to the Money Show, the show that puts your money matters front and center in a world full of financial noise. We are here to bring you clarity, confidence, and control over your personal finances, whether you're planning for retirement, building a portfolio, navigating debt, or just trying to make smarter money decisions. This is your space, your guide, and your weekly check-in with your wallet. Every evening, we bring you insights from top financial experts, decode the latest trends, and answer your burning questions on saving, investing, spending, and everything in between. Because you're on the Money Show, we believe one thing: you don't have to be a finance expert to take charge of your money. You just need to get the right advice. So let's drive right in, and we will be having a lot of specific topics to be discussed on this show. But before that, let me flash our WhatsApp number, email ID, where you can send across your financial portfolio. Just in case you want our experts' help to strategize any financial goal for you, just send across your question on our WhatsApp number or email us your queries, and we will get it answered live by our experts on the show. Okay, so let's move on. Start early, stay invested. That's not just a slogan, it's a financial truth. Compounding isn't just maths, it's actually magic. Imagine this: someone starts investing 10,000 a month at 25 for just 10 years and then stops. Another starts at 35 and invests the same amount for 20 years. Who do you think ends up with more wealth at 55? The answer will surprise you. The early bird walks away with 2.3 crores, while the late bloomer has just 1 CR, all at the same 12% return. Now, what does this tell us? That time in the market beats timing the market, and that the Indian growth story can be your biggest wealth creation opportunity. Today, we drive into this mindset with someone who lives and breathes this world. Atul Shinghal, founder, CEO, Scriptbox, a platform that has helped lakhs of Indians grow their wealth the smart way. We'll be talking about long-term investing strategies, avoiding the noise, trusting professionals, and making wealth creation accessible and meaningful. Atul, good evening. Welcome to the show. All right. So, let's begin with the early risers, or maybe the late bloomers. You know, what all do you have to miss if you start late? Time in the market is more important than timing in the market.
Good afternoon to all the listeners, and thank you so much, Kavita. It's good to be on the show again. Yeah, like you rightly said, it's just time in the market which matters. The only advice I have for late bloomers: don't be any later, right? So even if you are 35 and not started yet, start now. You don't want to be repeating the story when you're 45, especially in today's world when expenses are going up. We're going to live longer. So the good thing is that we should all remember that given today's medical science, given our social strata, given the advances in healthcare and our lifestyles, I think we should all plan that we are going to live to at least to 90, 95, 100. So even if you're starting at 35, you might have missed the early 10 years of compounding, but get started now. Get clear on your goals. Why are you investing? What are you investing for? And the last thing you want to do at this stage in your life is speculate or try to make money quickly. So the bad thing you could do at this stage when you're starting late, as you asked, Kavita, could be thinking that, hey, I'm starting so late. Does it make any sense for me to do anything? Let me make money quickly and catch up. You cannot. You started, but thinking long term, investing for the long term, not speculating, not doing F&O, not doing direct equity yourself would be my suggestion, or my experience tells me that wealth takes time to create. As an example, like when we started in 2013, our entire idea was, how do we help people save for the long term, grow their money? So the initial cohort of clients who started with us, who gave us the end of period portfolio then was about 2 crores. Some people have left us, some people have added more. Obviously, people have grown their own wealth. The value of that cohort today is 130 crores, right? So imagine how that wealth has compounded last 12 years, and that is available to you even if you start late. Think about the next 60, 70 years of your life. How you're going to live it, how you're going to live it independently. Invest with a purpose. Always be very clear, what are you investing for? We have 3 buckets we typically advise people to put their money into. One, given today's uncertainty, given today's Gen AI impact and possible job losses, have 6 to 12 months of expenses put away in a liquid fund or a near cash equivalent. Uh, Put in some money aside. But obviously, life has needs. You might want to be buying a new house, put your deposit down. You might be wanting to buy a car or upgrade your car, or you have loans you want to repay. And always have a bucket for long term investing for your retirement. Your personal retirement is as important as your other obligations, right? In India, we sometimes confuse that the person individual comes last, or you and your partner come last, and you sort of are looking after all your other dependents. While that is important, it is also very important to think about yourself. So whether you're a late boomer, you're an early starter, these three rules: have an emergency pot, have some money aside, which you only dip into when you need. Or which you use systematically. Don't dip into your long-term savings and your long-term investment.
All right,
That's the
so
basic
sure, right,
framework.
right, right. So these are the basic thumb rules, which actually go right every time. These are like the evergreen rules of financial planning, whether we have a new set of investors coming in the market or we have new investment avenues. Now, having said that, Atul, there are over 20 crores demat accounts, but only around 5.5 crore mutual fund investors. Now, what does this say about Indians? And their approach towards investment. Also, many people chase short-term trends, especially post-pandemic. We talk about crypto, angel investing, F&O trading. What's your message to first-time investors who are tempted by these investment avenues, and also, the thrill during the pandemic and sometime after that also, where they saw good amount of return in wherever they're invested?
You hit the nail on the head, right? So I think the important part is that just because we've seen 18-20% returns in some portfolios in a short period, people just don't know what lies ahead. Markets are a great leveler. If you take a 100-year view or a 40-year view or even a 10-year view, 12 to 14% is an actually extraordinary return. So what goes up must come down, and what goes down must come up. So to the specific question, my advice is find a coach, find a guide who knows what they do, who are professionals in this space. Don't trust that coffee corner conversation or your morning walk conversation, or don't feel you're missed out. So I am actually quite worried in the fact that there are 10 crore or 20 crore demat accounts, like you said, and 10 crore individual demat accounts, and only 5.5 crore mutual fund accounts, and even then small balances. And even in mutual funds, and I think I blame the industry and I blame the combination of India, because gambling is not legal. People are getting into speculation, people are getting into gambling and not investing. So segregating gambling, speculation, and investing into three different buckets, and focusing on investing and not in gambling and F&O, or in speculation and buying and selling regularly and doing day trading or doing crypto, is very important for everybody, especially for early starters. They're far more influenced. They're far more connected through influencers. People are making tons of money by being influencers on Instagram. And you ask them for their qualification, you ask them for their skin in the game, you ask them for their longevity, you'll be surprised it doesn't exist, right? And I think SEBI is doing a great job of cracking down on all of this. So you have to find a partner who's going to be with you for the next 40, 50, 60 years, like I said. If you're going to live for 60 more years or 70 more years, you need your financial advisor, you need your partner to be there for that long. So you need to find a coach who's got your best interest in mind, who's professional, understands the domain very well, who's done it before, who's got a proven track record, and who's going to be around for the next 70, 80 years. So I like at Scrapebox, one of the things we
Sure.
do is actually partner with retiring IFAs. We tell people, hey, you're about to leave. Can we look after your clients?
Definitely.
Your
Yeah.
clients need looking after. So yeah, to going
Right.
back to your point, I think it's very important that you invest systematically. Do not speculate. Do not treat mutual funds as short-term cash, which you can make money very quickly. You cannot. Nothing can make money quickly.
Sure. Now, you also recommend saving and investing 20% of income consistently, like paying rent. Now, according to you, why do people struggle with discipline so much, and how can they actually overcome it? What is the problem over here? Because people are disciplined in a lot of other aspects in their life. Short-term money gain definitely gives them a kick, and they are, to a larger extent, if we say that, disciplined over there. But then, having said that, when it comes to long-term investing, it sounds really boring, but then lack of understanding that leads to a lack of discipline. Would that be the right thing to say?
Absolutely. It's a lack of the see, as somebody said, the concept of compounding is very complex. It's very
Exactly.
obvious. Somebody called it the seventh or eighth wonder of the world. People understand it but don't feel it. So unless you've seen it, unless you understand that when he told Birbal that I will take one grain of rice on the first chess circle and I'll take double it every one, and there would never be enough rice in the world, right? So this power of compounding, 2 to the power of 10, 2 to the power of 5, is what people just don't understand. So this, that if you take 20% of your money and just keep it aside, like we did in the example of 10,000 rupees you gave in the beginning, 10,000 rupees a month, and how it compounds. So my thumb rule, or it's an unnegotiable part in I got two daughters who just started their careers, and I insist and I force them to take 20% out of whatever their income is, their take home is, goes into savings or goes into investments, obviously in our case through Scriptbox, and I top it up 20%. So I would suggest for parents who are listening in and who got young early savers, you teach them a habit of saving, and when they see that compounding after 5 years, it'll become ingrained in them. So I think this will come with just habit. This will come by just repeating it. It's not easy to do because easy to spend, right? Today is a consumption economy. You have credit cards. So I think just making sure, like you said, have rental, utilities, food, savings. So you do not save what is left. You spend what is left after you save. So the mindset you have to have is I'm saving first. Whatever is available after that, I will spend. Not I will save what is left after spending. The moment you change this paradigm in your head, things will change dramatically. So again, I'll repeat myself till I get go blue in the face. You have to, from day one of your life, uh, take aside 20% of your income, and if you can afford 25% of your income, and keep it aside, and then invest it with a purpose. Just putting it into a
Which
fixed
is
deposit
why,
or leaving it in your
Atul,
bank
it's very
account is
important to have purpose-driven investing, like separating emergency funds from long-term wealth creation. And how should one actually think about these buckets? Now, since we're talking on those lines, since we're talking about the fact that one should have a purpose-driven investment, identifying your purpose and your goal is the biggest task. You know, people actually don't get it. You've got broader goals. Once you have a family where you want to get your kids educated, people don't think about the retirement as one of the very important goals. And now the entire concept of retirement is also changing, and that's a different story. But then, how do we actually go about having a purpose-driven investment strategy or these buckets?
so again, I don't want to sound like a sales back. You have to find somebody who understands the
Okay.
buckets very well. We always insist that anybody who comes to us has a financial plan. The financial plan is well understood by the client and by us. We partner with them to make sure that there's enough money in each bucket, because each bucket requires a different asset class. It requires them to be monitored very differently. Typically 6 to 12 months of expenses. And you just starting off can't have that, right? So maybe it'll take you 2 years to build up that corpus, right? And I'm not talking about full-fledged expenses. These are, if you've lost your job and you're living on bare minimum, your sustenance, what does it look like? And you talked about early retirement. I mean, if you think about early retirement, it's a much larger corpus because we're going to live to 1995. That requires long-term, relatively higher risk, higher return portfolios. But we know the Indian markets have returned 12 to 14% in the long-term average, and I believe that might be a bit muted, but it will continue to be the best asset class for the long term. And then obviously there is what you need in the next 3 years, 5 years, which could be education. So you need to keep it in because you don't want to speculate with your children's education money, right? That pot,
Absolutely,
and again,
yeah.
it's a glide path. So if your children you're saving up for the next 15 years, like example at script box, we've got products which
Right.
you say save up for the next 15 years. First 12 years, it'll be very equity heavy.
So
The
these
last,
are high on priority goals, you know, which are already identified. But then now
yes.
we are looking at trends where people don't want to have kids. Maybe they want to travel every year. They want to take a sabbatical and feel the calling of their life. So I think those set of investors really need to sit back or maybe get some professional help. Now, having said that, you know, it's time for me to wrap up this particular discussion also. But I really want to know, since we're talking about first-time investors, we are talking about first-time investors selecting the right kind of investment instrument. Now, what advice would you give to a 20-year-old Atul Singhal?
I would say, luckily or unluckily, I was not earning, but 20, if I had an income at that point in time and had somebody advise me, I'd have definitely invested in equity mutual funds then to begin with, because I mean, luckily I had a backing, so I didn't need the emergency fund for some time at least. So I would have put money into equity mutual funds. I would have definitely saved 20% of my stipend and not spent it. So 20% of you invest, put it in equity mutual funds, monitor it dynamically. It's not that you fill it, shut it. Figure out your
Right.
asset allocation. So how much should go into large cap, how much should go into mid cap, how much should go into small cap. Within large cap, have
Okay.
say two funds. In mid cap, have one fund. Small cap, have one fund. Have a blended portfolio. Monitor the
Okay.
subcategory allocation. I know it's very complex. Best is find a
I
partner.
know, too much for a 20-year-old. Too much of
20-year-old
information for a
download. So again,
20-year-old.
thanks for the
I mean,
opportunity.
we are still
Download the
up with our
Scriptbox app.
aspirations at that age. We still have a list of our aspirations at that age.
I started
Anyways,
Scriptbox for 20-year-olds. So download the
okay,
Scriptbox app.
lovely.
Get started.
Lovely. Always a pleasure.